Hello and welcome to the third episode of Down the Pipeline. Today I've got three new Kickstarters to bring light to and release news for Fantasy Flight Games. The first game I found this week is a game called Smoke and Glass by Phoenix Outlaw Publishing. It is a game that uses the Fate Core system and is the very first book being published by Phoenix Outlaw. Now, Smoke and Glass is a steampunk Victorian era game with magic elements meshed in there. So it creates this weird fantasy steampunk hybrid, which actually works very well for the theme and mood that they wanted to go with for the game. It is a game where the primary focus is, heist style dramas and movies and, crime syndicates and stuff like that. And it's really cool. The setting that they've designed is very rich from what, if the Kickstarter is any indication of it. It is a city named Croy, which plays a lot with the noir steampunk feel and mixes magic elements into it, where magicians are actually hunted for their blood throughout the streets of Croy, and robbers and cops gallivant around doing all manner of fell deeds. And it's actually really interesting, and I hesitate to say unique in terms of a fantasy game, due to the fact that I may not have encountered others, but this could be very similar to something else. So I won't use unique, but it's a very interesting and refreshing setting material. The creators even went through and created a unique class system for their game and unique magic systems and the like to fit over the Fate Core system and really capture what they believe works for their game. And it looks very well done. The art is black and white, so nothing so spectacular, but it's very good art what it offers. And it has actually been funded already and still has 20 days to go. So there's still plenty of time to back this project if you're interested in a Fate system, a Fate game that uses steampunk and magic elements in one. There's also mention of stretch goals that would include things like setting fiction and expanded book lines and other things to enhance your game. The second game I found is called Four Kingdoms by Micro Elements. Now, why this game stuck out to me is right off the bat. First off, the art is really well done. It's very clean, very, evocative, and I personally enjoy the style. But one of the things that captured my attention most was right in the beginning. It begins with this intro to the game, which it claims is the litany of the Four Kingdoms. And in that litany, they reference a lot of Hinduism. Now, I find this just interesting because you don't see that a lot. A lot of games are very Eurocentric. If they touch on religion, it's very bland. It's your run-of-the-mill, either pantheon or monotheistic religions. And the fact that this one went and touched on a lot of Hinduism and the caste system right in the beginning, was really interesting to me. Now, after I read through a lot of the game and, a lot of the Kickstarter, it doesn't look like Hinduism plays a huge role in the game, but they used, the caste system and a lot of the um, like elements of it or virtues, and it really does an interesting job of a really good and job of making a very interesting game, I should say. With uh, the setting being that there is the world, but underneath that idea of this um, fantasy esque setting, it doesn't really describe exactly what time frame that they're looking at technologically, but judging from the art, we're talking about a high fantasy style setting. And underneath that idea of what the world is, that normal version of the world, there are four secret societies that are always, vying for power or prestige or somehow improving the lives of people or their people. And this was really interesting and uh, just, uh, you know, yet again, I don't want to say unique, but I'm going to use it anyway this time. A very unique experience. And one of the really cool things about it is actually it plays around the ideas of mysticism revolving around playing cards. Just your standard 52 card deck, and actually incorporates them into the game where you would have in your hand X amount of cards. And when it came down to like initiative or attacks or whatever, you could then play your card and improve your numbers. So that adds a really cool, semi-unique. I believe there have been games that you've used playing cards as in lieu of using dice. So that's not super unique, but I do enjoy uh, when it looks like there's a unique system that is both new but not needlessly cumbersome, and it can actually accomplish the task that it sets out to do. The third game I found was a game called HC SVNT Dracones. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's spelled very weirdly. If you click on the Kickstarter, you'll see what I mean. Um, and it is also a up and coming company that is making this book for the first time. And this is another game that's very odd. It is a sci-fi game, and all of what you have an conception about for races is non-existent because humans are now extinct. And what is left is a race called the Vector. They are created by the humans and are essentially these uplifted animals, dogs that walk on hind legs, cats, that style where, that human animal hybrid. But it comes across in a very cool way because instead of seeming comical or useless or needless, they actually went through and made a legitimate reason why this race would exist and why they would interact with anything. And one of those reasons being humanity is extinct. So this created race now is in control of things. They didn't take control. Their humanity just went extinct via mysterious circumstances, which aren't covered in this. But this works well, honestly. For having for what the idea of this game then becomes, because the game then focuses primarily on exploration of the unknown, and one of the reasons is because this new race, they have a very short-lived history, so they don't know anything, and humanity's gone, so they can't reference them for anything. So you've got a race that has, its creators are dead, depending on how you wanted to play it. They've got a very short history, and they have no idea what's going on. So what are they going to do? Exactly what humanity did: explore the unknown. And I actually enjoy that style because, tromping through dungeons or gallivanting through skyscraper cities and cloud and floating cities is all well and good, but a game about exploration can be really interesting because while it poses its own series of problems of, why do you keep exploring, you know, away teams and stuff like that, to use a Star Trek term, it still is really fun because it means that, you know, Adventure 1 could be something and Adventure 4 could be completely different, and it's still one continuous game while remaining fresh and not getting bogged down with what can sometimes happen with a game, with a non-exploration game, with the monotony of we're in a village, congrats, or we're fighting undead, whoop-de-doo. Exploration gives you the chance to play with the weird and the alien and the, just completely off the wall, and I enjoy that. And this, I believe, this game has also been funded and has quite a long time to go. 21 days left before its Kickstarter runs out, so plenty of time for stretch goals. And finally, the third thing, the entire idea about the show is, also to bring news of upcoming releases or recently released things, aside from just also, spotlighting Kickstarters. But Fantasy Flight Games on the 10th, so just 2 days ago, released the beta rulebook for Star Wars Force and Destiny, which is your Force users and Jedi and whatever for their new Star Wars line. And this is really cool. I personally have not played their new Star Wars line. I'm sort of opposed to aspects of it, but not so that I want to actually play it. It's got a really high buy-in, with having to buy the weird special dice, and all that stuff. But beside the point. But they released their beta rulebook for $30, and you can now gain access to playing things other than the soldiers and the fringers and scoundrels that they released with the other 2 books. I believe there's 2 out now. I could be wrong about that. But so that just dropped on the 10th, and yeah, that is everything. So I'll leave a link down to the Kickstarters below and also to the Fantasy Flight page. So if you want to read about that, the very short snippet that they have, or even if you want to go buy it, I'll leave a link down below. So